Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. As water levels rise on rivers across the state, safety concerns do as well.
Homes literally swept away, residents trapped, and potentially toxic water in every direction. Western Montana is facing the worst flooding it's had in nearly a century.
Now in Missoula, there are new hazards emerging, such as downed trees and power lines.
MTN's Augusta McDonald was in the flooded area today and brings us the latest.
Here on Tower Street, water has completely overtaken these homes and properties, but there are still volunteers and property owners here piling sandbags and trying to mitigate damage to their properties. Tower Street is overwhelmed with floodwater, but that's not the only concern. Water is also approaching sandbag lines west of this area near Crim Street. With these high waters come warnings about poor water quality, downed power lines, and gas leaks. With the highest water level in years, many drift logs and other debris are floating off upstream and can cause property and personal damage if you're caught near the water.
As we get rain and as this melt-off continues, one of the areas that we ask people to just be aware of is culverts plugging up. If you see some of those kinds of things, report that as well so that we can get those cleared out and prevent any kind of damage from flooding. Of course, our main concern is public safety, and the easiest way for people to stay informed of the situation is to register for Smart 911.
While temperatures are cooler, the National Weather Service says they will climb back into the 70s next week. And if they get into the 80s, snowmelt will pick up the pace.
And those hot temperatures will just get more of that snowmelt coming out of the real high country now and add to the situation. So we're going to have to really keep a close eye on that as we go forward here in time.
Emergency management officials emphasize that it's a critical time to pay attention to hazards and report any that you see. In Missoula, Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
Thanks, Augusta. Meanwhile, in Helena, motorists there daring to brave the elements and discovering that the city's storm drains simply are not up to the task.
Take a look. Water gushing from a storm drain just a few blocks from the state capitol building. The latest rainfall making things messier, and more is on the way. Creeks and streams in the Helena area still rising, in some areas bringing traffic to a halt.
In the final analysis, it really doesn't take much rain to create a big problem, especially at this time of the year when most waterways are already swollen with lots of snow melt.
Although western Montana has taken the brunt of this flooding, eastern Montana is not immune either.
Q2's Connor Pregetzer tonight joins us now with more on that.
The record snowpack is causing flooding situations to worsen around the state. Now here in our region, we have seen less of an impact than places like Missoula and Helena. But that is not to say that we are entirely unaffected. We take a look at the Musselshell River, where there is a flood warning up at Shawmut. The river is expected to crest at 7.4 feet by early next week. Flood stage is 6.5 feet and has already been eclipsed. Now Harleton and Lavina along the Musselshell are also expected to reach flood stage in the coming days, although to a much lesser extent. The Yellowstone River is also running fast and high. That's nothing surprising for this time of year. And in this case, there are no major flooding concerns. Here in Billings, the Yellowstone is expected to crest at more than 3 feet below flood stage. One of the major factors in flood concerns is incoming precipitation. And for more information on your precipitation forecast for this upcoming weekend, we send it to Bob.
Well, thank you very much, Connor. Well, the big weather maker is going to be a huge upper-level low-pressure cell. That's in the Pacific Northwest, this guy here. And it's going to swing right on down into Wyoming, and as it does so, it's going to produce a lot of rain and snow. That's right. This is the threat board. Look what's happening down there. We have winter storm warnings now for the Beartooths and also the Absarokas and also the Bighorn Mountains, looking for maybe 7 to 14 inches of snow in the Absarokas and also in the Bighorn Mountains. Over in the Beartooth Mountains, we're looking at maybe 8 to 16 inches of snow there. Over in Yellowstone Park, maybe more like 4 to 7 inches of snow. And take a look at this. Also up there between Butte and Sealy Lake, maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow there. And up by Kings Hill, maybe another 1 to 2 inches of snow in that area. We'll have your rainy forecast coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob. When it comes to water rescue, first responders have to brave freezing water, swift currents, and anything else nature wants to throw their way. But new jet skis donated to the Billings Fire Department are about to make things safer and faster. The fire department took to Lake Elmo on the first day to get accustomed to the skis, but today fire crews actually tested these machines by taking on the engorged and swift-running Yellowstone River. Now, this training helps prepare them to assist both conscious and unconscious individuals by getting them on the rescue boards and back to safety. Now, these smaller watercrafts will allow first responders to access back channels and islands along the river.
During this time of year, we've got a lot of debris and swift currents, and it may catch people off guard. And if something does happen with these personal watercraft, it'll make a quicker response to try and help somebody who's in need.
Along with the new jet skis donated by ExxonMobil, crews use dry suits, helmets, and flotation devices that can hold up to 600 pounds.
A former Bureau of Indian Affairs officer will spend time in prison for impregnating a woman he threatened to arrest. 43-year-old Dana Bullcoming sentenced today in U.S. District Court here in Billings to 3 years in prison. Earlier, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of deprivation of rights under the color of law. Bullcoming admitted he went to a woman's home late at night and threatened to report her for being intoxicated while home with her children. The officer told the victim something must be done and told her he meant sex. The woman had sex with the officer out of fear that she would be arrested and perhaps lose her job and children. The victim became pregnant as a result. Prosecutors had requested a 10-year prison sentence, but the judge followed the recommendation of the defense.
The former Billings Clinic nurse fired last year for allegedly taking patient painkillers for himself plans to plead guilty to federal charges.
Q2's Asia Gore has been following this story and is here now with us with more tonight. Asia, does this mean there's a plea agreement in the case?
Jay and Jeanelle, there is no plea agreement in this case. Donald Mills has filed notice he will plead guilty to the 2 federal charges and risk a prison sentence. Billings Clinic's Director of Pharmacy Services contacted the Drug Enforcement Administration in March of last year to report a series of drug thefts. Investigators learned Mills had been diverting the powerful painkiller fentanyl from at least 300 patients for personal use. Mills refilled the empty vials with saline, a saltwater solution. During a forensic interview, Mills admitted taking the drugs to treat his neck pain. According to court documents, Mills said he would go to the bathroom and inject the drug into his arm. Mills claims he did provide patients with a new vial of fentanyl in addition to the saline. An audit of the medication service station revealed Mills made 70 fraudulent transactions under his login. It's unclear what sentence prosecutors will recommend. The change of plea hearing is scheduled for next week. Jay and Jeanelle.
All right, thanks, Asia.
Polson police are investigating counterfeit $20 and $100 bills that apparently came from China.
Now, these phony bills are used by the Chinese to teach counting techniques. The fact is, it's even written on the bills in Chinese characters.
Police have identified 3 incidents where these bills have been used.
Montana Senator John Tester and Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, both former Montana lawmakers, faced off today before the Senate Interior Committee. At issue, Zinke's proposal for deep cuts in the Land and Water Conservation Fund, which is used to expand public access to public lands. It was just last March that Congress agreed to secure up to $425 million for the LWCF, but Zinke is proposing that figure be cut to just $8 million.
LWCF is funded at a pittance, $8 million when it should be $900 million. Why should we think that this proposal is going to be any different if it's going to be similar to LWCF?
Well, the proposal, which is bipartisan, was also a recommendation from numerous commission studies.
I got you.
But it also expands it. And the idea is this. It is a sound and prudent policy.
It's fine if it's done, and LWCF is a sound and prudent policy, too, to take offshore drilling revenues and put $900 million towards this project in 1978 dollars, and they're not near as much now as they were in 78, and we're funding it, I don't know, 1% of what it should be.
And this is why there's 2 branches of government, and why I'm committed to work with you on it.
Now, since 1965, Montana has used that Land, Water, and Conservation Fund to create fishing access sites and to expand access to hunting areas and hiking trails across Montana.
Summertime is drawing near, and that means thousands of families will load up to travel across the country.
Along the way, they'll pull up, camp, or even rent a luxury cabin at one of nearly 500 campgrounds of America. Better known here as KOA, the company is revving up this outdoor season with new leadership.
Q2's Zoe Zandora introduces us to KOA's new president.
Typically, I don't think you see businesses growing at the rate we're growing when they've been around for 56 years.
Campgrounds of America established its headquarters in Billings back in 1962 and continues to carry the tradition of enjoying the great outdoors to this day.
I think what's kept it here is the people. Obviously, there's a passion for the outdoors in Montana, so the people that work here share that passion. And it's all about the quality of the staff and the people that have just really feel strongly about this business.
Toby O'Rourke has worked at the KOA headquarters since 2011. During the 7 years, she has been a part of a record growth within the company and now is the first female president.
So it's a really fun place to be a part of. I am happy to be president of the organization. I don't know if it matters if I'm female or not, but it's been a great place for my family.
77 million households across the country and Canada are camping. And in just the past few years, O'Rourke says the KOA has seen a resurgence of interest in the outdoors.
There's a lot of new, younger people coming into camping. There's a lot more diversity coming into camping. So we seem to have this hotbed of activity right now.
What's next for the KOA? Well, there's a new emergence of camping the KOA has seen called glamping. O'Rourke says KOA is ready to take on an entire new business venture.
Canvas tents, teepees, yurts, all these unique ways to camp. People are seeking unique experiences and they're being drawn to that, and we're starting to play with that ourselves.
She says the KOA is focusing on new ways to grow, understanding what campers are looking for, and new ways to deliver new experiences.
I don't think the excitement for camping is going to slow down. We did survey work with teenagers and the enthusiasm's so high. They love to get outdoors. Even if we said, if we took away your cell phones, would you want to camp? The enthusiasm was off the charts. It's a place to have fun with your family and friends, get outside. There's a campground near you, probably wherever you are, so it's easy to get away. It's just in your backyard.
In Billings, Zoe Zandora, NTN News.
Okay, that's a new putt-putt out there, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think it is too.
Which of the motorhomes do you want?
Any of them.
All right.
To find a campground near you, you can check out KOA's website.
Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, a stroke can happen in the blink of an eye. Are you prepared to recognize the signs? We'll talk about them coming up next.
And later in sports, Billings swimmer Ethan Harder is headed to the country's top collegiate program. What a story. Scott fills us in.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.